Hello again. Today I want to do this video about the 7 universal laws and how it affects karma, and how we can affect our own lives and also change some aspects of this, even though most of these laws are unchangeable. There are many different perspectives to life, and those perspectives are conclusions we come to because of our own individual life experiences. So if we talk about spirituality in terms of philosophy rather than religion, my view is it might come a little clearer to you, as it does for me. Philosophy is a wisdom that comes from the self, and it comes through the self. Where religion generalizes and creates its own separate followings and enforces these upon those who follow. That's where we get lost and get misled, because then it's about somebody else and not about ourselves. Connecting with our higher self begins from an ego mind, and it starts because of the ego mind. And the ego mind is what deals with get-backs, retribution, and intent to do harm. When we connect to the heart, love kicks in. And we start to feel that what we're doing through the ego mind is disconnected. And so we start to feel not so good about ourselves. Some might call that guilt and start fighting against that, thinking that they have no control. But the thing is, with these divine laws, they are neutral, they're balanced. And so when we act with love, we're actually coming straight back to ourselves, going straight back to the heart, becoming heart-centered. And we rebalance and focus back on what we want and what's best for us. And we start to feel better about ourselves because of that. Now, I don't believe in good and bad as a concept, though it is something that we're taught. It is ego-based and generalised and very disconnected. What I believe in is living by what is necessary, taking actions that are necessary versus the unnecessary. But living this way steps outside the boundaries of the law. So what really is law? Law tends to be a set of rules made to ensure that we all conform to one way. Laws and rules are set by the ego and rarely set out through the heart. Therefore, the rules of law go beyond the 7 universal laws. And of the 7 universal laws, the first 3 are immutable. They're eternal laws, meaning they're absolute. And they can never be changed or transcended. They've always existed and will always exist. But our laws set today by those of apparent power cause us to believe that we have no power, and they are the ones that have control. Out of the 7 universal laws, there are another 4 laws that are transcendental. They're mutable laws, meaning that they can be transcended, or at least better used, to create a real reality and an ideal reality. This is not to say that you should ignore the 4 laws or attempt to defy them, or even if you do, they will still govern your existence. Your aim is to master each of these 7 universal laws, and only then learn to transcend the mutable ones. These 7 laws are the law of mentalism, which is immutable or self-fulfilling prophecies. The second is the law of correspondence, which is immutable. The law of vibration, again immutable. The law of polarity, mutable. The law of rhythm, mutable. The law of cause and effect, mutable. And the law of gender. Now, Western thinking for a long time has not included karma and rebirth. That's been more of an Eastern philosophy. We may think that it's quite scary to think about it, but the Western mind is starting to accept this as a reality for them too. Most Western people believe in the Bible, but even in the Bible, Jesus said to them, "As you sow, so shall you reap." So people get the idea of cause and effect. They need to do things before they're rewarded. But crime is defined by a mental intention that if you initiate any action so as not to do what matters to you, it is the intention behind it that matters most. So let's say you're riding a bicycle and you were to run over an ant on the road, not even aware that you ran over an ant. These laws say that you would not receive the karma of killing, since you have no intention to kill. So intent is a powerful philosophy of mind. And that philosophy in many minds is a strong held belief, so much that it sets off a vibration which excuses man for his actions that are not intentional. There are many actions that are accidental. Rebirth is defined as the linear, literal teaching and belief that when you die, you merely go back and are reborn into another realm based upon your karma and other things that you've done. The view which is currently in science today is that your consciousness is a product of the brain, which when you finish with your body, the belief is that it has a very strong influence over the reality we exist in. But reality can overcome belief. So truth exists over what a human mind makes of his life. When another story is placed right before his eyes, the human senses kick in, changing his whole perception of the world. When another story is placed there, the universe and even his own place in it changes. And there are thousands of possibilities ready to be argued for or against. Many people don't think of themselves as religious because of what their parents taught them and the schools they went to. In my opinion, there's no right or wrong. And in the end, thought processes are what determines how we view our life and the words that we use to describe them. Right and wrong, we are judging and projecting our judgment based upon duality into the equation, weighing up, judging and using these judgments to create structures of thoughts based upon logical conviction about all kinds of things. So we take on the kind of hypnotic fear. Clues from our cultures make sense and cause us to think of ourselves as rational and intelligent as we sift through information and come to some reasonable conclusion. And we make that our belief, and we stand strongly for those beliefs. We never really examine these ideas and what they are. And once we've discovered them, we see them as fact. So how can religion, spirit or spirituality even know fact? Why do people believe what they believe? Why do people believe these things as real? Because someone told them that it's fact. And we're all influenced by this. And we tend to modify the things that we're told in our own way, all of us. So that if we follow a religion, we decide to follow a rule that somebody else has made. And those things are about them. And so I say, do not follow me. Find your own path. Learn from your own experiences, even if they're bad experiences. You will feel the cause and the effect, and then you will have the chance and a choice to change it. And that's when the cause changes and the effects change. My belief is that karma causes rebirth. If we hold on to pain that we still haven't dealt with, we might choose, as we choose to right the wrongs that we do, we might choose to come back and do just that, to heal what was past. This idea carries a logical argument for karma and rebirth. But remember, with every belief you hold, there is an additional powerful aspect of suggestion. For example, back in the 1840s, in the United States, a very few Americans didn't have any problem with human slavery. And that was even the nicest and kindest of people. For them, there was no problem with it. Those people who had slaves were fully human, beautiful people. In Henry David Thoreau's book, he was like in his late 20s, sounding like a modern person today. He discusses slavery and saying, this is terribly wrong. It is inhuman. This is crazy. We should stop this. We need someone to stand up and stand aside from their own culture and know it to be insane, as he knew that that was insane. And in his own heart and in his own soul, that would be his karma. And he enlightened the world and brought it forward. And we have to be like that. Enlightenment. Stand aside from the social conditioning, social hypnotism. Slavery obeys a master. And when we create a belief of a master that is not within ourselves, where we are not the master, we then realise that we are the slave. There's one master that we all follow, and that master is called money. And we are the slaves to money. Now, historically and in the Bible, Jesus whipped the bankers because he would not be the slave. So are the Christians waking up? You know, life after this life, or the life continues after you exist, but your words will linger if they mean something. If I create a spell that makes someone's life a misery, it means little. But if I take action to make someone else's life content, I leave something that will last more than one lifetime and be a story worth remembering. And so every little change we claim to teach a process, and maybe even create a new path for some, and maybe even ourselves. But only positive process can make positive changes in our lives and in others. One thing we need to ensure is that we're not here to preach or teach a new religion. Religion is what you decide to choose for yourself, and it starts from you. The path you follow is one you take up or make for yourself. The Creator created you to create. You no longer have to go along with others' beliefs. You're free to create your own. They said 2012 was to be a change, a big change, one that would make a difference. And we've passed through that and felt nothing and seen nothing. But forget who you are now compared to what you have been, since you have been enslaved, and it's time to break free. Believe in you and in your freedom to create your own path. But do it with love. Please, please do it with love. Because I've already felt the pain of others' choices and decisions. And people make all sorts of decisions that change others' lives, not only their own. And it's often leaving a lifetime of bitterness and resentment. So it's time to call for that freedom. This is tying yourself into your own self-bound world. Freedom is saying, today I am free. Today I create my world free of resentment and let go of all that was before. Even if my children choose their lives beyond me, or those who choose their lives with me, I know who I am. Free of religion, free of politics, accepting of the small amounts of money I'm living on to bring up healthy young men that I'm able to bring up and have to know me. To know love and to rely upon these things that I have in my life right now, to ensure contentment in those that I have brought into the world. I would prefer it to be without the additional input of those who decide they have power. But I don't have to accept that I'm their slave. My younger sons may be enslaved for the moment. The law, a system that has nothing to do with me, decides this. Yet I'm no martyr. Not here to be judged, since only I am judge of my own life. And someday my sons too will be judges of their lives too. Their own childhood, what they've missed. Long may they know their own power to change this system of child slavery. They are born to change the world, and so are you. So vibrate at your highest vibration. Vibrationally match yourself with love. Push yourself forward and be the solution. We are all capable of being powerful and changing the world, while some remain stuck fighting. Be the love, and always see love. With all my love, from me to you. Bye for now.